Hello, and welcome to episode 85 of the SheGulls Podcast, powered, it still remains, by Albion Obsessed, the one and only podcast dedicated to Brighton Hove Albion women's football team. I'm your host, Duncan. I'm joined by fellow Albion fans, Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Duncan.
By Abby. Hello, Abby.
Hello, Duncan.
And by Claire. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Duncan.
Hello, and yes, we are no longer joined backstage by our producer Joe Sayers. If you saw the post on SheGulls.com, which some of you will and some of you will not have, I'm sure, Joe has stepped down from his that's why he's the producer and I'm not. The production role with the SheGulls. It was absolutely nothing personal or anything. We still love Joe to bits. He is our good friend, and he still will be supporting SheGulls from afar. It's just simply that he has a lot of other responsibilities that quite rightfully should come above SheGulls, to be brutally honest with you. And he's got to go and take care of those things. So we wish you all the best, Joe. We will remain powered by Albion Obsessed, as I say, until at least episode 100, when we may sort of change things around a bit. But for the time being, we still will be powered by Albion Obsessed. And as I say, best of luck, Joe, in your future endeavours, and do obviously keep in touch.
And go find Joe on Albion Obsessed. I mean, he's you know, if you're interested in the men's team, then that's the podcast to listen to, and they do a YouTube live as well. So well worth it.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go follow. I think most of their handles are at Albion Obsessed, and I think on the majority of them you can probably also find Joe. He's normally under at Sayers BHAFC from memory. So yeah, do go and follow and support, particularly obviously if you're a fan of the men's team, because they do put out great content. So yeah, thank you very much, Joe, and yeah, we'll speak to you soon, my friend. So on with the show with me producing. So we'll see what happens. There may be some sound effects or some things popping on the screen, popping off the screen. I'm not quite sure. We'll find out as we go along, because this is not only is it a new producer, but it's a new suite of production tools, shall we say?
Yeah.
So we can do lots of different things.
I get to play later.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, once I've sat through the full sort of 20-hour tutorial of the even more in-depth studio, maybe we'll get even more random bits and bobs. Maybe we'll have fireworks shooting across the screen, or maybe we'll have a little swear jar that rattles when Claire accidentally drops an S-bomb or a...
It's not an accident.
It's never an accident. It's never an accident. Especially given the situation which we find ourselves in at the moment. As Brighton Hove Albion women's football team, we had a game, of course, on Sunday against West Ham away, which seems to be our sort of bogey fixture at the moment. We seem to be able to beat West Ham at home reasonably comfortably, but away we just can't get anything done apparently. So we're gonna chat about that first, and as I said before, rather than split this into part 1 and part 2, just to make it a little bit easier for me on the production side for the time being, we're going to do it all in one hit, and you know, maybe I'll splice in a little music for the audio just in case you do want to stop at any point. So yeah, we'll cover everything in this episode. It should release as well by Wednesday at 1 p.m. So that's my kind of guidance for the audio, is if you are watching this, you can hear it and watch it on demand. But if you do want to still listen to the audio or anything, it should go live on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. And that way everyone kind of knows where they are. We're Mondays at 9 for the live show. And then obviously you can access the audio from Wednesdays at 1. So that should hopefully, you know, mean that everyone can get in some sort of routine. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So, yes, obviously it was a disappointing loss on the weekend. 3 goals to 2. Particularly disappointing, have to be said, because we were 2 goals up. You know, sometimes you do lose a close game 3-2, but when you're 2-0 up and 80 minutes has ticked past, you do kind of hope that that is the game done and dusted. But we are Brighton. And the game is never over, whether it be for us, against us, or anything in between. So I am going to start with Claire on this one. Was up at Dagenham with myself and Abby, indeed, in the crowd, singing very loudly and proudly. But yes, it got a little bit quiet towards the end, didn't it? Claire, what did you make of the West Ham game?
I don't know. It's just as frustrating, very frustrating, and I think as frustrating for the team as it was for us. I don't. From the way their reaction at the end, I think that hurt them just as much as it hurt us. I don't think they knew what had happened either. They just looked shell-shocked. And that worries me a little bit because you should be kind of able to take losing a game. Like that's, like you say, it's part and parcel of football, isn't it? But I feel like this team has been very much let down by the club over this season. I don't think they've been supported properly in terms of depth of squad. I think we've got players out there who are tired, exhausted, running their backsides off, trying to keep things going. I think we've got no real WSL experience. I've said that all season. If Fran's not playing, if Trankovic isn't playing, there's no experience, and you can't rely on them two to be always top of their game every game. There's nothing on the bench, really. We had Raki and Ula to come on, and then it's down to youngsters. That's not good enough. That is not good enough in a WSL team that finished 5th last season, and you want to push on for further up the table. To be going to the grounds and the teams around us who, let's face it, up until this point, West Ham have not been anything. Liverpool, nothing. Everton, terrible. We've gone to all of these games and struggled. Like, we should be putting them to bed easily, dealing with it, but we don't have a striker. Because for whatever reason, the club doesn't want to spend any money bringing somebody in. We've had since, July? They've known that they needed these players in to be replaced. They haven't done it. That's letting the squad down. That's letting the club down. That's letting the fans down. You're taking money from people that are turning up every week to come and watch, and you're not prepared to put money in your pocket and come up with some sort of solution. And then we get to January and we've bought a striker. We've got a striker, and you've sent her out on loan because you've got another striker sitting in the squad who's not played all season, and you won't take him out of the squad. So it just feels pointless. We're going to play Arsenal at the weekend. We can't play Rosa. We're going to have 3 forward players available to us, and all 3 will have to play. Whether they're fit enough or not, they're going to have to play. Otherwise, it's down to kids again. And that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous for a WSL team that has ambitions to get into the top 4. So you might as well just get the paintbrush out, go down the training centre and paint that wall over, because this tells me this club is not serious about getting into the top 4 at all.
No, and I think certainly, I think a lot of the fans can empathise with that. It was weird in a way that London City Lionesses loss was shocking in the fact that we actually played really well, because I think
that's what I'm saying. It's not the team. I don't feel this is the team as an issue.
But I mean, in the sense that when we played against Everton, we didn't blow them out of the water. When we played against, a lot of these other teams, when we played against West Ham, we should be blowing these teams out of the water, or certainly dominating.
Yeah.
And we're not. In this game, we found ourselves 2-0 up, pretty much because we scored with 2, really good goals. They weren't like tap-ins or anything. Ironically, they had the tap-ins and they couldn't score them.
Yeah.
So weirdly, we found ourselves on the right end of the result. But it was almost like the performance that we put in couldn't sustain that 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
And at some point, it felt like they will have an opportunity to get back in it. Obviously, we'll talk about the goals in a minute. But yeah, I agree with you. The team did look tired when West Ham did get back into it. They looked fired up. They looked like they had energy to burn, and we looked like we were just desperate to guard our goal against anything.
Yeah,
and you certainly can't get in the top 4 playing like that. And I'd argue you'll struggle to stay in that middle pack if you play like that. And in terms of like the signings and stuff, obviously, had the opportunity to speak to Chris Roberts, in the lead up to this game, and he kind of acknowledged what I thought that the club would say, which was essentially the right players weren't available at this time, and rather than sign someone else, they decided, let's not throw good money after bad sort of thing.
Just throw the team under the bus instead.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and to be honest with you, and then he was sort of talking about the youngsters getting appearances and things. Now, I'm not suggesting that he said that to temper expectations, but that's what it does. That tells us we know. In fact, I'm pretty sure he said that we will be light when the AFCON and the Asian Cup are on. So they know. Everyone at the club knows we're short of attacking 100%. Players. Everyone at the club knows when players go to the AFCON, the WAFCON, and the Asia Cup, we're going to be even shorter on players, and so we're going to have to play the youngsters.
Yeah. And
how do we genuinely, as a club, expect to keep up with those around us, or even those below us, if that's our situation? Because we're gone from the days where the other teams around us would have had to do that. Now,
the other teams around us all went out in the transfer market and found players that they found them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just smacks to me of penny pinching every time with Brighton. They are waiting till June when there's a load of players who are going to be free, and they'll want to sweep in and pick up all the leftovers of that, because that's what it will be. Because anybody who's half decent will get offered a better option than Brighton at the moment, because who'd want to come and play at Brighton now? A team that really isn't interested. They only want leftovers and cheap. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And you look around West Ham, they have picked up players and made better signings over this. They knew they needed to bring someone in. They did it. Aston Villa did it. All right, they got their backsides wiped, but they got backsides wiped by a Liverpool team that spent money in the transfer windows and bought players in. And you can't tell me there's not one player out there who could have scored us a few goals on a half a season's contract with a potential extension if they did well.
One of the players that Liverpool loaned in for 6 months scored their second goal on the weekend, Martha Thomas. So, like I said before, we don't know who was and wasn't considered.
Of course we don't.
And it could be that we tried to get her and she decided she wanted to go to Liverpool instead.
That tells you everything.
Exactly. So you can read two things into that. Either we didn't go for her, in which case, why the heck not? Because it's a hide into nothing.
Well, she chose relegation bottom of the table over us. And that's even worse.
Which, neither of them make sense to the fans. I think that's the thing at the end of the day. We're talking on behalf of the fans and, going through it all from that. But Ben, you were at home, I presume, watching on the laptop. It was on YouTube, I think, wasn't it?
It was on YouTube, yeah.
So how did it come across to you on screen?
Well, firstly, as I'm the nice one, I'm going to chuck in a couple of sort of mitigations. The pitch was terrible.
Yeah, but it was terrible for West Ham as well.
Well, yeah.
They still managed to play all right.
All right. You've had your moan. Let me have mine. No. Well, we're a passing team. West Ham are a hoof it and run team. We're a passing team. And it was bobbling about. It was, passes over here, passes under here. I mean, it was. You have to remember that. I mean, Dagenham and Redbridge play in National League South, which is Tier 6. And they were talking, when all these sort of FA Cup reshuffles they're talking about doing, is because they're worried about big clubs having to play at sort of lower tier pitches. Whereas West Ham are playing on lower tier, making everybody else play on a lower tier pitch every week. So the pitch was rubbish. And also Dagenham Redbridge played on it on Saturday as well. So it was a sort of freshly trodden, terrible pitch. And I would also add that we should have had a penalty on 8 minutes because Una Siren basically tripped up Maddie in the box. And I don't know if it was too early for someone to give a penalty or whatever, but it was an absolute stonewall as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to have a moan about Adi Sonoye though, because I think generally he had a very good game otherwise. But yeah, there's two mitigations. Otherwise, it was just a really scrappy game. We rode our luck. We got two fantastic goals. And we even got the second goal, which we often, we're always sort of complaining that we can only ever get one goal, and it's always squeaky bum right to the end because, if you're 2 up, then you can relax a bit. So I was relaxed a bit, and then
It all went wrong.
I think we
I
all
mean, we're
did.
actually even looking for a third at points, but I don't know. They just sort of got a freak one. One of those. I mean, I think at least Theon Morgan actually had the good grace to admit that it was a complete accident that it went in. She was, no, I was trying to lob the keeper from there, sort of thing. It was a complete mishit cross that went in. And then obviously their tails are up and our tails have gone down, and we're backing off. Do we end up watching the clock? I mean, I often sort of feels like sort of the last couple of minutes before half time, but the last sort of few minutes of the game, it almost feels like we're going, 83 minutes. It's like a cricketer on 97 or something like that. They're just suddenly everything changed. You've got to keep it tight, because there's only a few minutes left, and suddenly you've completely changed the way you're playing. But obviously, once West Ham have got that one, then suddenly tails are up. They get the second, and there's only one team going to get a third. So it was disappointing. It was just bizarre, mental, weird. West Ham haven't scored a goal in the final 15 minutes of a game since last April, all that sort of stuff, and suddenly they got 3, and it was just crazy. And I think Claire's right. The team, it's the same 11 for the third game running, and there's not many options on the bench to say let's try something different. It's really, just a case. I think Charlie Rule was absolutely run ragged by Vivasay. I think she won. I think Charlie won the physical battle, but obviously, Vivasay is about sort of 20 mile an hour faster than Charlie. So it was sort of swapped her for Rach McLaughlin, and that sort of seemed to shut that up for a little bit. But there's nothing on the bench to say, right, let's try this then. I mean, Ulag was good, but she wasn't on for that long. And again, I don't get the Carla Camacho stoppage time thing. Either it's do it or get off the pot. Is she a player or is she not? I mean, if you're gonna bring her on, then at least give her something to do. So and I think and then you look at the rest of the bench. I mean, if we didn't give Bex Rayner or Lucas Tsunoda, and otherwise it's just kids and defenders. So we should always beat West Ham. They're bottom of the table anyway, but they're a team that we should, like you say, we should be controlling them and dominating them and putting 3 or 4 past them. But for some reason, just couldn't. And
it feels like we go around in circles a lot of the time with the issues that we have. It almost feels like just when we think we've sort of got over one thing, something else that we thought we'd got over rears its ugly head. I mean, for a while we'd put that whole, we have this mad 5-10 minute period where we will go from winning a game to losing a game just in a very short period. And then we've had Villa and now West Ham where we've been playing well, 1-0 up, obviously in the Villa game, 2-0 up in this game. And within a very, very short space of time, the opposition just flipped it completely on its head.
Well, London City as well. London City goals were only 10 minutes apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's like a collective lack of focus, isn't it? Like just all of a sudden something switches and all of them switch off.
Yeah.
And then it all changes and it's like, squeaky bum time, and then we're back on it, but it's too late.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to like game management, and I think that would be where it would really help to have some more established WSL players, because it almost felt like when you get desperate to not lose, that is when you forget where you're supposed to be, at what time, where other players are, etc. And that's what seems to happen to us when we have these mad 10 minutes, is we almost completely forget everything we've learned and just go into survival mode. And the problem with that is then a player won't pick up a runner, or so-and-so goes forward, so so-and-so is supposed to step in behind them, but they don't, because they're so they're so concentrating on the fact of we don't want to concede, we don't want to concede,
or we start retreating.
Exactly, but it's just like whatever they've been doing for the rest of the game almost go as soon as the opposition score, that almost completely goes by the wayside.
Yeah,
and I think it's that then it's a mentality of like, oh, not this again, not this again, and then all the sort of strategy that they've had and all the play that they've had up till then, where they've been sort of going through their their drills and they're going through the motions of playing the game and been relatively successful, i.e. we hadn't conceded up till the point where they get one back. All that goes out the window in favor of defend for your life, and at that point you just you stop almost relying on technique and you start relying on instinct. And I think unfortunately at this level, if you're relying on instinct to stop goals going in, you are running a very, very serious risk of what happened on the weekend, so I mean, I think maybe I'll come to Abby and we'll discuss the goals. I think we've spoken a bit about the performance, and I'm sure we'll speak more about it. But Abby, what did you think of our 2 goals? I think we'll start with the positives. We did go 2-0 up, so I think we have to speak about that first.
I actually messaged Ben halfway through, and I won't use the words exactly. I should use one of his words, and I think I went toilet game, 2 worldies. And that was it. We weren't playing very well. We kept giving away possession. We kept doing everything we shouldn't be doing. But we scored 2 amazing goals. And they should probably both be on the highlight reel at the end of the month for the goal of the month. They were, absolutely brilliant. But we then, let some in. And... as soon as, Phil Morgan came on, I think I said in the podcast last week, she'll probably have a good game against us because I really quite like her. I think she's a very good player. And, yes, she did exactly that. She came on. That's exactly why, West Ham signed her from Bristol City, was because she can, create things. And that's exactly what she did. I think we were actually very lucky not to have been 2 or 3-0 down in the first half. Martinez pulled one aside. Vivasai just fingertips from Chia and over it went. So I think we were riding our luck quite a bit for the game. Yeah. And then it was exactly that. A goal went in, and then you've got Shakira Martinez and Vivasai on the field, and they're going to do what they do. And away they went. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not.
I'm slightly different to Claire. I'm quite happy that the players were upset at the loss, because I can't remember where it was. I'm sure it was an away game. I think it was Villa, but I might have been wrong. And we lost. But at the end of the game, the players were all happy, smiling. Oh, thank you for coming over. Yes, I'll take pictures and hugs and this, that, and the other. And they were all very happy. And I was like, I've just driven half the length of the country to watch you lose. Could you be a little bit upset? So I quite like it when the players feel, because that says to me that they do feel it. And I'm more disposed to then support them and be there for them. Yeah. I'm sure they were, just as surprised as Fionn herself that ball had gone in. And then, an uncharacteristic mistake from the defence, and we're suddenly 2-2. So in a very short space of time, they've scored 2 goals back. Manchester City did that to us, except they're Man City and this is West Ham. So it has happened before. But I genuinely think the team at that point thought, we've got to win. Well done. Thank you very much. And then it just hit them. And then the heads go down. And I can't even remember the third goal.
It was just a scramble.
Yeah.
It was a scramble that just kept ping-ponging around.
Yeah. And then, there we go. It's just the thing that did get me a little bit is that I think we got quite a few cards for being somewhat argumentative towards the referee.
I like that, actually. I like that.
Yeah, well, I like the ref. There were some people around me all moaning about him, and I was like, no, I like him. because at one point he did. I'm very much a fan of Nigel Owens from rugby. His favourite phrase is, I'm the referee here, not you. And this guy said exactly the same thing to one of their players. She went to take a throw and he went, no, I'm going to talk to you. And she went to take a throw and he went, no, I am going to talk to you because I'm the one with the whistle. Thank you. And sort of stopped her. So I like that. And I like the fact that he was strict. But I think it's, again, you can see the frustration from our players bubbling over that they're talking back and they're so on. Yes, maybe we do need to do a little bit more tactical, sitting down and, oh, my poor head, from that ankle tackle, and I need to have an ice pack on it or something, because they definitely play the time wasting game. I
think it's just being a bit more ruthless and a bit more, I think I'll just bring up Tim's comment again. I'm aware. Hopefully it won't cover you up.
Just because you know how to do that now.
Yeah, I know. It's good. It's good, isn't it? It's good to read new things.
Very nice.
But yeah,
it blocks half of me out.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, I could maybe move it to like the middle, but we'll work on it.
Let's leave it.
This is when we can.
Yeah. Maybe we should rotate the squad next week or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I think you can. There's certain ways of managing the game without having to do the sort of sitting down 70-minute thing. I mean, for a kickoff, like Ben said, we didn't bring Carla on till like the 88th minute or 80. Yeah. Might even been later than that. That would be the first thing I think I'd probably do after they just scored, especially if then they're looking to go get that second, is start making some
91.
I think
91.
that was exactly
91 we bought Carla on.
So I think it might even have been after they went 3-2 up.
Yeah, it was exactly what me and Joe was talking about. We saw the first goal went in and we both said, you need a substitution or something now just to take the sting out of the game, just to stop it. Because all West Ham were doing was just wave after wave, because their tails were up. And, we needed to do something that just put a stop to that. And nobody did. And that's where I feel like somebody with WSL experience on the pitch would have fallen over, had a little head injury, or just whatever they needed to do, would have got that game stopped for a couple of minutes just to say, calm down. But it didn't. Yeah,
even if it's just running onto the pitch and telling everyone to calm down and that you need to be here and I need to be there, and you remember that you're supposed to be out here, and I mean their third goal. Obviously, we'll talk about the goals individually, but their third goal, like you say, Claire, it kind of ended up being a ping pong around in the box. But Shakira Martinez gets the cross in from the left-hand side, relatively unchallenged. I mean, I think Rachel's out there trying to sort of get a block in, but I mean, most footballers worth their salt can curl it round one defender. And we just let that ball come in. And then not only does it fall to Ueki in the box, who was probably unlucky not to score for herself. It was actually a very good save from Chia to keep it out. But then obviously, she's not able to do anything with the rebound. It essentially just hits her and she reacts, immediately and manages to keep it out. But then it's a loose ball and it happens to find a say. But again, it's like the cross was allowed to come in. The first touch on the ball or the ball falls to a West Ham player who can't put it away. We save it and it falls to another West Ham player. Yeah. And you just think, where are we all? What are we doing? Because we weren't defending the cross. We weren't first to the first ball. We weren't first to the second ball. Yeah. So you kind of think, well, granted, I think, we'll talk about the other goals. We might as well at this point. I personally think I've watched the first goal a couple of times. I think Chia is. I think it's a cross, like Fia Morgan acknowledged. It is a cross that ends up going towards the goal, but Chia palms it into her own net. When I actually think she probably could have caught it. I don't even think she needed to palm it at all. It's not way above her or anything. It's probably head height or just over head height. And she palms it backwards into her own goal. And I think, if we're honest, that's a goalkeeping error. That's on mainly on Chia. But having said that, someone had to let Fia Morgan get that cross shot in the first place. So there's a small caveat to that one. The second one is a bit tougher because, again, they get in behind us. We let them get in behind us. So Chia has to come out because that's her game, right? If you get in behind, Chia's going to come out to try and protect her goal because her perspective is at that point, it's you versus me. And it just happens that they said on the report that she missed the ball, and I thought she missed the ball.
No,
it looks more like to me that she kicks it, but it hits Martinez and very nicely doesn't like ping off for a throw or
go straight into her stride.
Into her stride. And then we're desperately trying to get back. And Martinez, she can obviously see a route to goal and she tucks it away. It's a good finish. I don't put that one so much on Chia because I think she did what she thought she had to do because Shakira Martinez got put through one-on-one essentially with her.
Well, I mean, she wasn't quite one-on-one, but I mean, that's what Chia does. And we love her for it. And we lose sort of hours and hours and years of our life every time she does it, but we love her for it, and we love the fact that our goalkeeper is a front foot goalkeeper and stuff. Whether or not she actually needed to that time is kind of a bit moot because Manu and Moeka are both there with her.
Yeah.
So if Shakira Martinez runs onto the ball, then probably Manu is taking her towards the corner.
Yeah.
Or Moeka. And the keeper's in her box waiting for whatever one West Ham player, and like by the time the ball goes in, there's 5 Albion players in the picture, 5 Albion outfield players, and only Shakira Martinez. So I think, but she does that. Usually it works, But that time,
she did do it once afterwards, where she did, and instead of this time, I noticed, and you sort of wonder if this is the kind of. I know she's a very experienced goalkeeper, but you do wonder if this is a bit of like WSL learning that she might have, maybe with the state of the pitches and stuff. Because when she did it the next time, rather than hoof it, she kind of kicked it sideways and out for a throw.
Yeah.
I think because she was trying to avoid doing the same thing, which was wallop it hard into a player, and then it ended up falling nicely to them or rebounding back towards West Ham player or whatever. She just kind of wound up to absolutely smash it, and then she kind of nipped it out for a throw in and got back in her goal quickly. And I thought, I wonder if that maybe going forward, because we don't want her to stop coming out, because she's actually stopped a lot of goals by doing
that.
But
I think it may be the fact
mindset.
Yeah, I think maybe, like you say, maybe it was on her mind that she'd made the mistake for the first one and she wanted to make sure she didn't make any more moving forward, and she was going to shut that down before it even got anywhere near her.
Yeah.
And like you say, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what she does. And on this one occasion, it's just bloody sod's law, isn't it? That the ball ricochets off and goes exactly where the attacker needs it to go. And that's it. She's stuck then. She can't get back quick enough. The defenders can't get back. It just is what it is. But,
But equally, you can go back several phases and we pretty much give the ball to West Ham for it to go forward to Shakira Martinez to then take it forward. So, yes, it's very easy to look at the highlights and go, oh, yes, that was, an uncharacteristic error. But the whole team was doing that the whole game, giving the ball away unnecessarily.
Yeah,
I think the pitch had a lot to do with that.
I think the pitch aggravated the fact of they're already exhausted, and now they've got to run around on this heavy pitch.
Yeah. And they can't
and they're probably looking at that going, let's try and conserve as much energy as we can. But you can't in this game, because I think the thing for me is when you watch Brighton and we turn up, it's the games where we just go at them. We don't care who they are. We go at them. We're first to the ball. We get the ball. We're aggressive in our tackles. We just we're really at it. And these sort of games where we keep losing from winning positions, they always seem to be the ones where we're just not quite getting to the ball first. We're not quite pushing our dominance on these teams. We've just given them just that little bit too much room. And I just think, is it because we are just exhausted? Because we only have such a small squad and they have to keep playing. And they've probably got little niggles here and there where they've just got to get on with it, because there just isn't anyone else to come in and play. And we had this
This is the third game that this same team has started.
We haven't done that for a long, long time. That we've played the same.
And whilst it's very nice to say that's good for squad consistency,
yes,
you know, at some point, if I'm on the bench, I'm going to go, what have I got to do to get on the pitch? And if I'm on the pitch running around and being utterly exhausted, I've got to say, what have I got to do to get a bit of a rest and respite?
Well, we'll see something different this week because obviously Rosa can't play, so somebody has to come in. Which I assume is going to be
Ulao to come in. To be honest with you,
sorry,
I think Ulao will come in.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised
where Rosa plays.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think Camacho had a really good game against Arsenal in the first game of the one at the Emirates. I don't know why we don't give her a little run out and give Maddie a rest. Because Maddie is getting literally the shit kicked out of her every game. And she had a couple of really rough tackles where, I mean, at one point it looked quite serious and then she was up. But she had a couple where it took a while for her to get up from them. They weren't just gentle, I've fallen over, I'll take a rest. She got a proper kick in. So, I mean, people moan about Olivia Smith getting battered every week. Well, you want to come and watch Brighton get battered because Maddie gets exactly the same treatment. Nobody cares.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just that thing, isn't it, where we've had games where we've played really well, and lost, and we've had the odd game where we haven't played that well and we've won. But by and large, we probably are where we deserve to be. I think are we seventh now?
17 points.
And obviously that's kind of by virtue of the fact that
nobody else won.
We're still in that middle pack because Aston Villa and London City also lost, although they lost to teams who are below us. So the teams below us are starting to creep up a little bit. I don't think all of them will because it's not logistically possible. There aren't enough games for them all to kind of get up to 20 points. But I think you could see Liverpool rise quite quickly. I think you could see, based on that performance, West Ham, I think, could beat a few teams. Will they beat lots of teams? Probably not. But could they probably beat Leicester, who I'm sure they've probably got at least one more? Yeah, I reckon they probably could.
Yeah.
And that's why I probably, of all the teams that are down the bottom, it's probably Leicester who I fear for the most, because they're the ones who are still not winning. Even though, some of those bottom teams are starting to pick up points, they're still not winning games. So that wouldn't shock me. But yeah, it's very, that was the first time I think I don't like to use the word angry, and I don't think it is anger. I think it's more frustration. But that was the first time where I wanted to get out of there. You
were gone. We were
I was probably a bit rude, because we just went. I wanted to get out of there because, I thought we'd been generally quite respectful as away fans. Obviously, we cheered and chanted and stuff like that. But to watch your team concede 3 goals in 10 minutes, and then have the West Ham fans who haven't said a flaming word, most of them. Some of them did, but I would say 95% of them didn't. But to have them giving it the big un, right? That's their right because their team went out and did it. But I was frustrated. I was at a bit of a boiling point at that point.
Yeah.
Because I thought, right, okay, I need to get out of here now. I need to take a chill. I need to, come away from this environment. Not because anything was going to happen, not because I was going to say anything back.
It's just horrible. It's humiliating, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to. You're walking part. You know what it's like.
You're enjoying what looks like your victory, and and we had a few people. We've had it the last couple of games where there's fans who start singing shitty chants about the opposition, and it's like, just stop doing that. Why are you doing that? And so then to lose in the manner that we did, and then have to be right next to the West Ham fans who are literally rubbing it in your face because they've, they're bottom of the league 1 minute. But our fans were just saying it to them, you're bottom of the league, and now they're just going up yours, mate. We just beat you. Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Stop jinxing the games with these bloody chants. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's not working, is it? It doesn't help.
The thing is obviously, you know, as we know with the women's game, because of where the games often take place and things like that, you're not sort of a lot of men's games. You'd almost be funneled out with your own supporters. You'd be onto a train or a bus or a coach or whatever. This, it's like I went for a wee and there's like 12 West Ham fans in there.
Yeah.
And I sort of walked in and I thought, I don't need to go this bad. Because they're all going like, oh, did you see that at the end and all this sort of stuff? And I was like, oh, I can't. Like, I've got my scarf on and my hat on. I was
that's
like,
the other way round. We are absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. If we were 2-0 down and our team comes back and wins that,
exactly. Yeah, they had every right to do it. You know, they had every right to do it.
Absolutely.
I was like, I don't need to be in this environment at the moment.
We don't need to watch it.
You know, so I just thought, well, I'll come out of there, and you know, absolutely, like I say, fair play to them. They won the game, we didn't. That's who cares what happened in the rest of it. At the end of the day, they got the 3 points, we didn't. They're entitled to chant about us bottling it and all this sort of stuff, and we can't. You know, so that's just what happens. But it doesn't mean as fans, particularly as traveling fans who have paid to go away, that we have to like that. or sort of take it on the chin, and you know, it's like I can take it on the chin, but maybe like a couple of hours later in this instance. So I mean, you know, it was what it was, as they say, to coin the term. Anything else anyone wants to bring up about the West Ham game? Any positives, negatives? I thought
the hot chocolate was nice.
Hot chocolate was nice, yeah.
That's it. That's my positive.
That's your positive.
I think, on the whole, you know, Chia pulled off some amazing saves. You know,
I mean, from that free kick from Mateo.
So, you know, we can't. That's why I started off with, I don't want to blame the team. I don't think this is a team problem. No. I think there is a mindset problem, and I think we've had it for a good couple of years where we don't think we're good enough at some points, or we think, what the hell, how are we winning this? I don't know. Something goes wrong in the mindset and it just switches off, like we've been saying. I think, you know, on the whole, the defence had a great game. Like you say, Charlie was run ragged, bless her. I think she was desperate to come off in the end because she just looked knackered, absolutely knackered. But we're playing a team where we know they're going to just hit us on the break. That's what they're set up for. They're set up for fast players to hit us on the break. We can't give them that much room and space to do that.
No.
You know, you've got to find a way to break that down and to just keep the ball. Stop giving it away. It was so messy. But I think, like Ben said, the pitch was shit. And that does have an effect on the legs after a while. You know, if you're running around, that's tiring.
It's not often, actually, when normally sort of players will have boots with sort of like molded studs.
Yeah.
With sort of, you know, there's like a, you know, sort of not quite like a, anyway. But so it's not often that you see them with the old school sort of screw-in aluminium studs. But then they were all wearing those. So it's heavy. It's hard on the legs. Yeah. Which again, which kind of makes you wonder why there weren't more substitutions as well if people are getting tired.
Exactly, and it's that thing of like, if you've gone out and you know that the pitch is going to be like, we've all known it's rained for the last 2 weeks, right? So nearly every pitch in the country that's not, you know, Premier League standard is going to have an issue with the pitch. Why didn't we play our own sort of kind of hit them on the break type football, or just change it up a bit? But we don't have the squad depth to do it. We don't have that amount of, you know, to be able to say, right, we're going to switch it up this week. We're going to put you, and you in. And instead we're going to have, you know, runners over the top and blah, 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 blah. We're going to have none of that because we can't afford to swap anyone out. We've got to play the squad we've got now, because when they disappear in a couple of weeks, half of them, that's when we'll have to play other people. So we might as well get the most out of them as we can now.
Yeah.
But it's worrying, isn't it, when you're going to be coming up against Arsenal? And you know what? I kind of felt as well that maybe actually we needed to lose like that. We needed to, because I think we have been riding our luck a bit. We have been getting a few results when we really probably shouldn't have got them. We've lost a few games when we should have maybe got more out of it. But they've all been games that are kind of modelling along. Maybe we needed to have that to push us for this game against Arsenal, to come out of the blocks and just go for it. And do that for the rest of the season. Just go for it because you've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah, I certainly feel like for that FA Cup game, obviously
I want to see us annihilate them.
Yeah,
I want an annihilation.
To me, that's got to be a revenge game.
Absolutely,
that's an archetypal revenge game. You go there and you say, we should not have let you come back in that game. We're going to take you on from pillar to post. All 90 minutes, we're going to run you ragged. We're going to beat you to a pulp, and then you're going to know, that we've come to visit you, sort of thing. So I hope that's the case. But I was squeaking then. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. That is my chair.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
I do have a much better chair, but it is now the cat's chair.
Ah, okay.
And I'm left with the squeaky one. So sorry about that, listeners.
No, I mean that's only right. Pets get the best chair. That's the rule,
exactly.
isn't it? That's the rule.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Yele was a bit quiet yesterday compared to the last couple of games.
Actually, I think the periods when she wasn't quiet, we were at our best.
Yeah,
there was sort of a period where you sort of almost didn't see her for a bit, and then suddenly she sort
of burst.
She was the sort of centre of everything for about 10-15 minutes, and that was like when we really played well.
Yeah, and I do wonder if the pitch played a factor. Because she is very much a give and go player. Here's the ball, let me run forward, and you give it back to me. And there were a lot of instances. I thought what West Ham did really well in limiting us was they didn't necessarily press high, but they pressed hard. So what was happening a lot of the time, the ball would go from the centre backs to either Marissa or Charlie. They would look up, nothing was on, so they'd have to turn back and give it to the centre back. So that was clearly something by West Ham where basically they'd identified, don't let them get it from the wide fullbacks, the wing backs, whatever, to the wide strikers. Don't let Charlie keep giving it to Kiko. Don't let Marissa keep giving it to Rosa. So basically, as soon as one of those fullbacks or wing backs, whatever you want to call them, gets the ball, go hard on the player that they're going to pass the ball to. And we kept having to look up. Oh, there's no one on. Give it back to Mane. Look up. Nothing's on. Give it back to Moeka.
Yeah, there were a lot of long balls played in the end, weren't there?
Yeah, well, but the thing is, actually, a long ball was what scored us the first goal. Yeah. But the problem is that I think they had really made an effort to try and Kiko barely touched the ball before that. I actually am not sure how many times she touched the ball before that because I don't remember her touching the ball. But that was because if you're West Ham, who are you going to mark? Who's the danger? You kind of, I think with Maddie, yes, she is dangerous, but I think the centre-backs think she's going to be physical with us. We can be physical with her. She's not going to blaze past us. She's not probably going to skill round us. We just have to basically play her at our own game, which is, don't get muscled off the ball, wait for an opportunity and try and make the tackle sort of thing. The danger is going to be Kiko and Rosa, and it felt like they were really good at putting a lid on them. So even if the ball did get to Kiko or did get to Rosa, at that point, they would then have to turn around and give it backwards. And we ended up going backwards a heck of a lot. And I think it was just down to West Ham. They just, I wouldn't say they parked the bus. They probably parked the bicycle.
They just kept pushing up, didn't they? Every time you gave them, every time you passed back, they pushed up a bit more and pushed you back a bit further.
They identified quickly who the player we were going to be looking to pass it to. And got on them quickly to make them have to, Nadine's free, pass it to Nadine. Well, by the time it's got to Nadine, if she's controlled it okay, which given the pitch is 50-50, if she controls it okay, she's immediately got a West Ham player on her. If she doesn't control it okay, then she's probably controlled it so that a West Ham player can nip in and get the ball. And they did that really well.
Absolutely.
But they conceded 2 goals.
Yeah. And I would say for Chankovic as well, which we need to remember, she's played the last 3 games, I think, hasn't she? Where she's been the player of the match.
After coming off quite a lengthy injury.
Coming off an injury, exactly. Like everybody else that's come off an injury has had to have managed minutes.
Yeah.
But she hasn't. She's come straight back in and boom, she's had 3 fantastic games. can't really blame her for being off the pace for a little bit yesterday.
No, and this again speaks to the point. Who would, if you thought, oh, Yelena needs a break, she needs or she perhaps she plays the first half, and you think, oh, she's just not on it today. Let's bring someone else on. Who?
There wasn't anyone because Bex will be on managed minutes, so she can't come on. Fukas plays a totally different game, which means you're going to have to change up everything if you do that.
Yeah. And
then there's Caitlin in defence. So other than that, you've just got a bunch of kids, and you can't put it on those kids to be like, you go and sort that out. You go and fix that problem.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, those kids need to be coming on when we're 4-0 up, and they can enjoy themselves and have a bit of fun. No, not in these sorts of games.
Yeah. But we are not going to get to the point of ever being 4-0 up.
Changing the subject slightly, because this is getting a bit down again.
Yeah.
Tim in the comments again. The give and go from Manu, loved it. I mean I think that's surprised probably her more than anybody else. But yeah, I mean, she just won the ball sort of fairly high and passed it into midfield, and then just kept going.
Yeah, and then really like that.
Yeah, Maddie plays her in like she plays Kiko in, and she gets around. What's her name? I've completely
was it Hanshaw or was it the other centre back?
It was.
I can't remember her name. She's like Scandinavian.
It was Nystrom.
Nystrom, that's it.
Nystrom. Yeah, just danced around her, and then she's sort of 1-on-1 with Simic, and I thought she's gonna do that. You know, on her wrong foot, she's gonna try and curl it into the top corner, but no, she absolutely leathers it. Like if Simic saw that go past her, I'd be very surprised. Because that was just wallop.
It was a great goal. And do you know what was fabulous as well? Obviously for the fans, I think that's the first time a player has ever just run to us.
Yeah.
And celebrated in front of our fans. Do you know what I mean? And it was just a brilliant moment for all of us to just be like, we're all there together then in that moment to celebrate that goal. It was brilliant.
Good goal.
It's also been the first time in a long time that they've actually scored in front of us.
In our end. Yeah.
Because, at Everton, it was, the next county over, it felt like.
Well, we didn't know it had gone in for about 20
Exactly. Until the players all stopped and got in a circuit, it was like, I think we might have scored and might get an alert on my watch. Yeah. And rather than the cheers playing at the halfway line, you're about to have a coronary alert, this was the, we've scored. So that was lovely. To have it right in front of us. And at that point, we thought we were going to have the world. And we very nearly did.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Yeah, it's just. I mean, you just got to wait now, really, for June, haven't you, and see what the club has what planned, and hope that they do the best that we all hope they will do. But I don't know.
Yeah, but we've got some tough games coming up. I was just having a little look, and we've got obviously Arsenal, then West Ham in the cup, and then we've got Chelsea, Liverpool, who previously would have gone, Liverpool at home, that's fine, but they've really strengthened and they've got their tails up.
Well, not
Leicester
last
away. Leicester away, we're it might be right, but then we've got Man City, Man United, and Tottenham to finish us off. So I just hope that we can, do enough with all of those to put us into a position that when we go into June and we go and talk to these players, we can say that this is where we are.
We're not
up high, not here we are down at, near the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
I think I would have felt quite comfortable about the fact that if we'd have beaten West Ham, I feel like we would have been more than likely going to eclipse last year's points total.
Yeah.
Because I think, was it 28? I think it was
29. I think.
No, I haven't felt like we were going to do that.
It was upper 20s. But I think with the games left, bearing in mind that obviously one of them's Leicester, one of them is Liverpool. Like I would have felt somehow, some way, we probably could have got up to 30 points. Now I'd be shocked if we made 30 points.
I don't think we'll make 25.
It's possible. It's quite possible. Yeah. That's
we're
3
on.
wins,
but the problem that we have is we've got Arsenal, Chelsea, and I think Man United still to play. So we've still got 3 of the top 4.
Oh, 4 of them.
Oh, we got all 4 of them. So we played. We got Man City to have at home, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got all 4 of them still to come, and the others that we've got are all hitting their strides and raising themselves up at a time when we're about to lose half our squad to AFCON and the Asia Cup. Now, obviously, they will all lose players as well. Probably in the top 4 might lose some players, but I don't think Leicester's going to lose many players, are they? I don't think West Ham and Liverpool will lose many players. So they will be coming down to what to play us, or we'll be going to them. And they'll be fully ready for us, and they will be desperate to get points, and we'll be languishing mid-table with nothing to play for and nothing to lose. And I just think I don't see us really getting more than sort of maybe 9 more points out of the rest of these games. I just don't see where the points come from if we play like we've played, because we're so knackered.
Yeah, and I think I think the club probably could have played it off as a success, even if we hadn't finished 5th or 4th. I mean, obviously we were aiming for 4th in theory, but I think, you know, if we matched or beat last year's total, I think they could have said, well, look, yeah, okay, we ended up finishing 6th, but we still got our record points total or whatever. I think it's much harder if we're under that points total, given the fact that we're supposed to be progressing as a club. I mean, and the thing is that they can say, well, you know, we weren't as strong as we would have liked and blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. But the thing is, that's not our issue. That's their issue. You know what I mean? Like you can say, oh, well, you know, we went after some players and we didn't get them and we didn't have an ideal window and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, that's their issue. There's nothing we can do about that. We're just supporting the team. So to me, if they do come out and kind of say that, you know, if we do end up on 25 points and we're 7th, and there's a bit of a, well, hang on, what the hell happened there then? They've really got no one else to sort of take issue with but themselves, you know. So
we got 28.
Yeah,
28. Yeah, I thought it was 28. Because if we'd have won at Villa, we would have got the 30. We would have got to 31. But yeah, I think that's, you know, they can't really look at anyone else and say, oh, well, you know, you can do this or you basically do that. It's just it's down to them, you know.
We've got 7 games left in the WSL. We've got to play the bottom 2 and the top 5.
And the top 5, yeah.
So
it's not looking healthy
and
for us.
I'm quite confident about beating Leicester. Relatively confident.
The only thing that we've got now, though, is that really the pressure is off, because there's no way we're not expected to beat the top 4 now. And we're probably wouldn't even be expected to beat the bottom 2, because they will be the ones that are desperate for points. So maybe we can relax a little bit, and maybe that makes it a little bit less stressy to turn up and play. But I don't even know how are we even going to be able to field a full bench at some point, because it only takes another injury. And we're a bit
it'll be more youngsters, won't it? But
well, Fran's supposed to be back post Arsenal, isn't she?
The target
apparently
is the FA Cup game. But it was very much a target, because don't forget, after the West Ham game, we've got like a 2 or 3 week gap, I think. So I feel like if it's even 50-50, they probably just won't risk her on the basis that she would have another 3 weeks to get better anyway.
Yeah, and Marriott is supposed to be relatively soon, but again, she's a defender.
Yeah.
We're kind of still okay for defenders.
I suppose we could chuck Marriott and Caitlin up front and give it a go. Do you know what I mean? Give it a go.
Well, having seen her goal this weekend, let's put Mano up front.
Mano up there,
But Maylis and obviously Aisha are still longer term. Don't know when. But yeah, we are going to be very thin, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I must admit, I did think Ulau, when she came on, I think she's very eager to play a part. And I think there were a couple of times where maybe she was a bit too eager.
I think when she starts to gel with a few of the players around her properly and really gets on sync with everybody, she's going to fit in perfectly. And
I think
might be
so.
That thing we're missing.
Yeah.
And
her first touch on a difficult pitch was actually pretty good. And she seems to be quite good at keeping the ball at her feet when she's dribbling, which is a positive. She also had a couple of attempts on goal. 1 or 2 were a bit wayward, but she did have one shot that Shemek saved with her foot, which ironically would have put us 3-0 up at that point. And that's not on Ulaug. You know, it was a good save and she was on target and all that thing. But it just shows you how the worm can turn, doesn't it? You know, that we could have gone 3-0 up and then within 2 minutes it's 2-1, 3-2, 3-2. So, you know, I think, as always with strikers, especially when they're new, returning from injury, all these sorts of things, the worrying thing is if they come on and don't do anything. If they're coming on and getting chances, at some point they will start to score them if they're a good player. You know, not everyone, but, you know, she looks a good player to me. She's getting chances. I hope that she comes in for Rosa. Much as I like Carla, I think Ulaug is more... is ready to start helping us contribute a bit more than Carla. I think Carla needs regular 90 minutes week in, week out for a couple of months, really. To start hitting a stride.
Well, more than 4 or 5 anyway.
Well, yeah.
I don't get that at all. I just don't see the point of bringing someone on for stoppage time. Because you can't, what can you do? You know, go and get a hat trick. It's like, you know, it's weird, you know. Either give her half an hour, 20 minutes, or just don't bother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but again, I wonder if it's that, and it's nothing against Chris because he's stepping in. But again, is it that sort of lack of experience around the squad that, you know, they've scored a goal, let's stop, let's make a substitution, let's change something up, take the pace out the game, bring it back to us. You know, is there, you know, something, or is it just, it was a bad day at the office all round, let's look forward to Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you, they were probably looking to make that substitution. There was a gap of like, I don't know, 7-8 minutes, I think, between their equaliser and their winning goal. So I would suggest that perhaps he was putting Carla on to kind of do that thing of break up the momentum, make sure we see the game out. She's got fresh legs, so she might be able to contribute a little bit in.
Well, she's very good at holding the ball up as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of makes sense, but then obviously they then go and get the goal. So then it looks like she comes on for the last 3 minutes to try and get us back.
Yeah. I mean, she was sat there a long time because you could see right into the bench, and obviously they're sitting there with the blankets on their lap, and they've got tracksuits on and stuff like that. She was sitting there in her shorts on the bench for quite a long time. So she was obviously sort of there and ready to go. She was not warming up now. I'm ready to go on, kind of thing.
Well, I think at one point she actually puts the yellow bib on and goes and runs up and down in her shorts and t-shirt. So maybe she was ready to go. So I don't know. It's it's very easy to go back and go, well, we should have done this, that, and the other. And I dare say it's very difficult to take a team that's winning 2-0 and then go, well, that's worked for 80 minutes. Why do we change it? It has been working. So I can see that. But we do, I think we are at the point now where we do need to make some changes. We do need to do something different. If for no other reason than to give some of our players a bit of a rest, because I want to win that FA Cup game. I'm almost, not to take the thunder from the next segment, I almost don't really care what happens to Arsenal. I want to.
I do.
Yeah,
I want to beat.
I think actually, sorry, back to the sort of changing the squad up a bit. I mean, again, it's like we said against Villa, that it might have been sensible to have a 6-foot Irish person on the pitch to take on Rach Daly in the air, because Rach Daly is the best header in the air, but we've also got the best header in the air, best player in the air in Caitlin Hayes. And also, when you know that you're going to be facing someone like Vivasai, why are you not playing your fast fullback on the right? So why did that again? That's another sort of, you don't want to change your team up entirely because you want to play your own game. But the specific threat from West Ham really is Vivasai. I mean, Shakira Martinez can put them away, but she has to have the ball given to her, kind of thing. Yeah, she'll blast it in from 5 yards or whatever. But Vivasai is their outlet. She's the playmaker. So, and she's quick. Charlie is a great player, but she's not quick.
No.
Like I say, she won the physical battle against Vivasai when they were sort of 1-on-1 and sort of up against each other. But every time Charlie had to run, Vivasey was leaving her for dead.
Yeah.
So why are we not playing Rachel McLaughlin to face Vivasey?
Yeah.
Well, it's just that's just one of those things. And again, if Charlie did look knackered, maybe Charlie could do with the rest because she does a lot of running about.
Yeah.
I think that also speaks to sometimes a bit of a wider issue. I mean, I was quite vocal when we played Man United that for some reason we decided that no one should mark Jess Park, even though she's quite clearly the most creative outlet they've got.
Yeah.
And especially at that point, the ball was running through her. Everything was running through her. And it kind of, now you say that, I mean, that kind of strikes true a bit on the weekend. For me, Asai and Martinez had a lot more time on the ball than they really should have had by rights, because we couldn't get Kiko on the ball. No. We barely could get Maddie on the ball half the time. There were times when she had to come back to the halfway line to get on the ball, So they were doing what is the sensible thing, which is identifying our strengths and basically trying to nullify them to the best of their ability. Now, we scored 2 cracking goals. One of them is an absolute worldie of a finish from a ball over the top. The second one is when someone who they wouldn't have identified as a threat decided, sod it, I'm going forward, and pings one in the top corner. But we conceded our goals, maybe not the first one, but the second one and the third one, exactly the players that you should be shutting down and not allowing them to have time on the ball. And actually, Asai was on the ball a lot. Or if she wasn't on the ball, she was creating mischief. She was buying a foul, or I think I said on my column, I really like Vivasey.
I do.
Yeah.
Some people will say, she falls over all the time. Oh, she does this, she does that. Yeah, she plays the game hard, and the thing is, sometimes she'll be late to a challenge. Sometimes she gets a little nudge and she goes down a bit easy. But also, sometimes she's first to a ball that's bouncing around the box. Or there's a 60-40 in favour of the other team, and she'll win it for your team because she's aggressive. And this is where she differs a little bit from Olivia Smith, is she doesn't shy away from that aggressiveness and kind of do it in, in a sort of a petulant way, almost like Olivia Smith does on occasion, not always, but on occasion. She knows what she can do well, and she plays to that strength rather than, I get bullied and, but I never foul anyone else except when I get sent off for 2 yellow cards. So I like that. And I would say that is one of the things that we don't have. We don't have like a player who goes out there and bullies you. In this context, I'm not saying I actually want people like getting abused or anything. Of course not. But in this instance, you're playing against Vivasey that game. Exactly like we said. Charlie Rule did really well to kind of keep her, for the most part, quiet. But she did get chances. She did set up chances for other people. She did have a free kick that unfortunately, Baggers wouldn't have saved. Chia saved it, but Baggers wouldn't have got near it. So I think we need to have that grit and determination. I don't know whether it needs to be up front. If West Ham do get relegated or whatever, I'd snap Asai up, straight away. I feel like we need it in the midfield. I sometimes feel like our midfield has no bite. To get it through our midfield, you don't have to run the gauntlet. You just have to be able to play a well-placed pass. And it sometimes feels a bit easy to go from their half or their penalty area to our penalty area without having to take a few tackles, without having to take it past a few people. It just goes from A to B quite quickly. And I think once upon a time we hoped that Decky was that player. Injuries kind of put pay to that. But the more that this season wears on, the more I think that Maisie is not a 6. We've said it before. She's an 8. She's a Stanway, not a Walsh. And I think that is something that really needs addressing in the off season. Is an attacker who a midfielder, who makes you have to get it past them every time.
There was a few times, I think, towards the end of the game, obviously when we were chasing it at that point, and Maisie came forward, and it was just like, yes, that is what I want to see Maisie doing.
Exactly.
You know, like I know she's the captain, but I want her to just forget about that. Just leave that in the dressing room. You don't need to carry that with you on your shoulders. Just go out there and play your game. And I think, like you say, I think her game is better when she's attacking, and then have somebody like a Fuka sitting in the six.
Yeah.
If you have to. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to do something different, let's try that. Do you know what I mean? Because we got no options. If Fran's not available, then, you know, what are we going to do? We might as well try something a bit different. And Fuka hasn't let anyone down in every game she's come on and played. She's done really, really well. So I just think, like, why would we not try that? Try something just a bit different. Free up Maisie to just let rip with her natural talents and just go for it.
I'd like to see Maisie move up to where Nadine is and bring Fuka on for where Maisie is. Nothing against Nadine. She's brilliant, but we need to change it up.
Fuka's the one when we're probably not going to lose for the Asian Cup either. Unfortunately on her behalf, but maybe. I mean, she's only 20, isn't she? So maybe someday
in a couple
soon.
Of years, maybe.
So you know, she's the one. She's the one of our 3 Japanese players that we're not going to be losing probably. So might as well get her in now.
Yeah.
As you say, and just get her to, you know, because she's only little, but she's rock hard, and she's got that great centre of gravity as well. That you know, doesn't seem to be able to knock over.
And you're not going to just be able to breeze past her.
No.
She's going to make you work to get it past her. She's going to come towards you and make you beat her.
I think the players like her as well. The opposition almost forget about her.
Yeah.
Like she's almost like insignificant to them because of her size, and then she just goes and then suddenly they're she's there, and then
look up and
they're suddenly aware of her. Do you know what I mean? It does. It gives her quite a bit of a. She kind of wanders around in the shadows of them. They don't really take much notice of her, and she just nips in and gets a ball here and there, and you know, like that goal that she got in at Villa was because no one paid any attention to her. They didn't notice her, and she just went, "Thank you very much." And I think we could do with a little bit of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And she's aggressive, but she's not necessarily aggressive physically, but she's aggressive mentally in that she always wants to go and get the ball back. She always wants to, you know, like you say, I think she probably goes a little bit underrated by the opposition because they're thinking, well, she's not going to score. When she did for a kickoff. But also, it's like, that's fine because we're not necessarily in a situation where we need her to score. If she does, great.
Bonus.
But what we actually want her to do is what she's doing, which is going around, making a nuisance of herself, making people have to, you know, look up and then suddenly have to get rid of it because she's charging towards them or is nipping at their heels or whatever it may be. You know, and I don't see enough of that in our team sometimes. You know, the players will carry the ball forward, the opposition players will carry the ball forward, and it just feels like a knife through butter sometimes. And I think that's where you need players who are going to do those hard yards. And that's not saying that the other players are not putting in the effort. It's just saying that I don't think the balance of our team is quite right. You know, and we all know up front why that is not quite right. But I think even in the midfield, it's not quite right.
Yeah.
You know, and also the defense to a certain extent. I think at centre back we're pretty good. We're pretty stocked, but I do think that we get exposed on the flanks sometimes, and I don't know whether that means that we need to change more to like a back four where the 2 wide players actually do defend for the majority of the time, or whether it needs to be players with more sort of up and down stamina ability. You know, Ben spoke about with Viv, you know, why didn't we play Rachel? Because, you know, she has a bit more pace and can keep up with her. I think they probably decided to go with Charlie mainly on the basis that of the physical aspect of Asai. But like you say, you know, then you get the other issue, which is then Charlie's knackered because she's had to battle Viv Asai the whole game. But, you know, also, what bigger compliment could you give an attacker other than a goal than say the opposition had to take a player off because you ran them so ragged they couldn't carry on?
To be fair, though, I think Charlie came off around just after we'd scored the second goal. Rachel was the one that was. Rachel was on the pitch when we let 3 in.
Yeah, so, very true. Very true. Yeah,
so I don't even know how. I don't know what Rachel was told to go and do, because Rachel was attacking quite a lot and doing Rachel things.
Yeah.
But even she wasn't getting back to catch Asai. Do you know what I mean? Like Asai is very, very fast. Like you just can't give her the ball. Just don't let her get the ball, because she will outrun most people.
Yeah, and if she can't outrun you, she'll outmuscle you or buy a foul or whatever it may be. So to be quite honest with you, watching them, I mean, I know that we were 2-0 up and in a way comfortable. But I think given the sort of totality of the game, if you take the goals away, I'm very surprised they don't do better than they do, because they've actually got some very good players. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like our 2 goals were like, oh, well, we walked through their defence and tapped it in the corner. We had to score 2 very good goals to go 2-0 up. I thought their defence was actually fairly solid. Going forward, they're obviously good. Asai's very strong. Martinez is a good finisher. Yeah. She was a bit in and out of the game, I thought. But the trouble is, she's one of those players who you can't forget about just because she's had 10 minutes where you haven't seen her or she hasn't done anything. Because she'll pop up in the 11th bloody minute and score a goal.
Yeah.
And you
I think the thing with West Ham, you have to remember as well, they started the season with a different manager, different players, didn't they? They changed the manager up. That helped them instantly, I think.
Yeah.
And then over the January transfer window, they've chucked a couple of extra players in. Yeah. And all of that has helped them to strengthen and be a better team.
Yeah.
A better squad. Yeah. And I think that it just proves, doesn't it, that it doesn't take much to change the direction of your squad. That's why it's just so disappointing that we didn't do that, really.
Yeah, I think Zellum was a really good pickup.
Absolutely, experienced player.
Yeah. She. I mean, I wouldn't say like she had a sort of 10 out of 10 game or anything, but she was in and around. She was playing some good passes and stuff, and it wasn't like she was knackered after 45 minutes or anything. She played the whole game, from what I remember, or certainly the majority of it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of experience there that's going to really help West Ham, and maybe we were in for her. Maybe we thought that was a bit below us to have to go and get Katie Zellum.
So on the subject of Zellum, she got booked after 6 minutes.
She did, which
and again, that's another thing that almost feels like it's missing. It's like, well, now she's been booked, target her.
Yeah.
Play at her.
Go at her.
Make her get a second one.
Be more ruthless.
Yeah, so that's something I thought, ooh, lovely. This is a good start. And then we should have had the penalty. But I'm not going to talk about that, because that really didn't affect the game. Well, no, it might have done, but whatever. I think that's something that I'm sure other teams do, is that when a player's been booked, they get targeted. It's like, right, let's draw another one. Well, actually, again, Olivia Smith, when Arsenal played Man United, was it the League Cup? I think it was the League Cup semi, wasn't it?
So, yeah.
She'd been booked. I can't remember what it was for. Sort of quite early on. Julia Zagiotti went for her. I mean, it was. I think. Well, no, I don't think she deliberately. Whatever. Anyway, she got booked for bringing her down. It wasn't like a horrifically nasty tackle. But Julia knows that Olivia Smith is one of those players that will take revenge.
Yeah.
So, like 5 minutes later, she goes in late on Julia and gets a second yellow. And I think Julia knew exactly what she was doing. Mm-hmm. So you just need. I mean, again, she's a player we could have done with holding on to. But she's that sort of nasty, well, not nasty, little terriery sort of player that's yapping at your ankles, winding you up, and making you get booked. She picked up a yellow herself, but Olivia Smith picked up a second.
Yeah.
So
and that's WSL experience for Julia, isn't it? Because she played for us for several seasons.
Yeah, well, Bundesliga experience.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is as well with that is, even if you don't manage to get them sent off, you know that they can't perform certain actions.
Yeah.
You might as well try and run past them every time, because you'll get past them sometimes, and if they reach out that hand and give you a little tug, then they're off. And if they can't give you a tug back, then you've gone past them. Forget about it. Carry on. So it's just it's a little bit of, we lack a bit of ruthlessness. I think we lack a bit of aggression, and we lack this sort of game management ability. That when the chips start to go down, we unfortunately we rather capitulate rather than kind of bring ourselves back. So I think we just have to kind of let this one sit in the record books. And I think like you said, maybe in a weird way we needed this result to kind of say, look, we can't carry on playing mere football and winning games. At some point we had to come a cropper doing it, and we did. So there we go.
And it definitely did hurt. It definitely hurt. I think those players, half of them just went and got off the pitch, and the other half just, they looked visibly upset, visibly shocked. And
they didn't do it. No one did anything deliberately, or
you can't sit there and go, well, they didn't do this, they didn't turn up, blah blah blah. It was just one of those games where we finally just got caught out by not having the ability to close a game out.
Absolutely. Right, so I guess we should look forward now, not back. We'll leave that one where it deserves, in the past, in the mud of Dagenham, and we shall move on to the upcoming game against Arsenal, also in the league. I think this is I kind of see this one as a little bit of a free hit. I really want us to kind of go out there and show what we can do. But I it's not one where I feel like we've got a good chance of winning. But we did last year, so I think there'll be I think we can take comfort from that. We can take some inspiration from that we did take them on almost at their own game to a certain extent and beat them at the Broadfield. But perhaps that would have even been better had we come off quite a morale boosting 2-0 victory over West Ham, whereas now it's I think they just, if anything, need to take the pressure off themselves and just go out there and try and play with some freedom. Like you said before, Claire, about we seem to play best when we're going out there and pressing high and chasing and trying to sort of do our own thing, and not worrying too much about the opposition or what's going to happen in the 70th minute, but go out there and from minute one give it socks, as they say. So I hope that they are able to do that, and obviously we'll see what sort of condition Arsenal are in. I will come to Abby first. Are you looking forward to the game, Abby?
Yes, I always look forward to the game. I get to see my favourite football team. I get to see my friends, and we've now decided that we've now decided that the chips at Broadfield are actually superior to the ones at West Ham because they're smaller and they come in a cup. I mean, that does tell you what the game was like. That we did spend quite a long time talking about the chips. So I always look forward to the games because every game is a blank sheet, and there's a famous manager said, well, on paper we should do X, but the game isn't played on paper. It's played on Sunday, at Broadfield, and anything can happen. It's a complete blank slate, and anything can happen. The likelihood is it will be a tough game, and that there will be a lot of away fans, and chances are that Arsenal really do need. I know it's very easy to say the ones at the bottom of the table need to win. Arsenal really need to win. They've not had a very good season. They really do need to put their toes in the ground and push forward. So I think there's a lot of possibilities. What's nice is that they're not a team that are going to turn up and park the bus like LCR. They're not going to put 15 people in the box. They're going to come out and play good football. So I'm hopeful that it's a good game. We know from last year we can beat them. it wasn't a massively resounding victory for them at the Emirates. So yeah, let's hope. I just hope that our girls play with the confidence of the pressure being off. I think sometimes when you're playing your Leicesters, your Tottenhams, your Aston Villas, and so on, there's that thing in the back of your mind of, oh, we should be beating them. We should be winning this. We should blah blah blah. Whereas with this one, we should lose, and so there's no pressure on our team, because if they lose, well, it was Arsenal and they were, and if we win, it's Arsenal and we've won. Hooray! Now let's go and beat West Ham. So I think I'm hoping that they'll be able to, play with a bit of freedom. I'd really like to, see Olaug start. I think I'm really excited by what we've got in her. And I just hope that some of our players that have been injured start getting on the pitch and doing meaningful minutes. I've heard from, places that, Aisha might be ready or has been looking at the Arsenal game. I would have thought if that was the case, she'd have started being on the bench or being in the training videos. So I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, but it would be nice to see them, getting boots on grass and, maybe see Bex coming on for some minutes. And it may well be that, if we are, losing, that we then just do bring some of these players on and see what we've got. So, but either way, it's going to be good fun.
Yeah, it should in theory be quite a good game. Like you say, we always seem to play quite well against teams that come out and play against us. Doesn't mean we'll always win, but at least it's quite entertaining normally. Yeah. I prefer that kind of entertaining to the sort of we're 1-0 up, clinging desperately onto the lead, we've had conversation about how puckered up I get in those situations. So that's not so much entertaining as torture or some sort of torture, I think. But yeah, I think I'm not going to go back to the West Ham game, but I would say I hope they aren't feeling like because we lost against West Ham, we have to go and beat Arsenal, because I don't think any of the fans feel like that. And I hope that isn't like a millstone around their neck where they're like, oh God, yeah, it would have been hiding to nothing if we won the last game, but we didn't, so now we need the points, sort of thing. I think that's probably a bit of a fool's errand, really. I feel like that's only going to impact us negatively, to be quite honest with you. So Ben, how about you? Are you sort of reasonably hopeful that we can sort of compete at least with Arsenal on the weekend?
I think. I mean, I take your point about the not beating West Ham. But I also would say I hope they don't go, well, we couldn't even beat West Ham, so Arsenal are going to kill us.
Exactly. Yeah.
I suppose the one thing in our favour is that they're playing in Leuven on Wednesday night in the Champions League knockout thing. I mean, they should beat Leuven, but they've got to take them seriously. So hopefully they'll be a little bit jaded. I mean, like I've said before, that's where the Stella Brewery is. Hopefully a few of them stick around for a few, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think we'll get a repeat of Broadfield last season. But I kind of hope we get a repeat of the Emirates this season. Because I think, obviously Mo Loggers was very unlucky. And they didn't have that many chances apart from that really unlucky deflection. And we had quite a lot of really good chances against them, and it was a really sort of open game and stuff. And it was just very, really proud of the team for the performance they put in, even though they came away with nothing. They were really good. So I think if we can get that kind of game again, where we compete with them, I think we can. I mean, I think, obviously we didn't have Rose at that time. We had to do without Michelle Adjumang as well, didn't we, at the time? And obviously Fran was fit. But otherwise, I think pretty much everybody that played then is still available. Actually, even though Maylis isn't around, is she? But maybe she hasn't got quite such great memories of the Emirates. They've been knocked out cold by the ball.
I'll be surprised if you got any memories of the Amex.
That's a good point, yeah.
But I think, they do let you play against them because they're not afraid of letting people play against them. They don't park the bus, which is the thing we always have trouble against. So I think we'll get in behind them and we'll get some chances. And I think, again, my little Carla Camacho fan club flag. Why? What? She played so well at the Emirates, and that's like, that's the biggest pitch in the country. So why on earth she wouldn't go up front? I mean, maybe give Maddie a rest or something if she's getting kicked all over the place, and put Carla up front with Ulag on the left and Kiko on the right or something. I don't know, but I think
start that way.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Change it if it's not working.
Yeah, maybe give her the first 5 minutes instead of the last 5 minutes. But I just think, I mean, it is a bit of a free hit. I mean, you shouldn't be going into games seeing them as free hits. Oh, we'll probably lose, but let's just go and have a laugh. But it is a bit of a free hit when you play the top 4, particularly, bogey clubs like Arsenal. So, I think we can get a performance out, and I think they can go into the next West Ham game feeling a bit better about themselves, having maybe not beaten Arsenal, but at least, giving them a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's about what we can really expect. I mean, I think any points or whatever will be a bonus, but we just want to see them put the last game behind them, treat this game on its merits, and make it competitive. And in theory, if you're competitive against Arsenal, even if you don't win, you should be able to take some impetus from that. Moving on to the FA Cup. I mean, we're by no means out of the FA Cup. West Ham are by no means unbeatable. Although we don't have a good record against them away, but if we get past them, who knows? We could get one of the superpowers. We could not, and then we could be very close to getting to a semi-final or even a final. So, that still has to be sort of on the radar a little bit as well. So, Claire, would you take a loss against Arsenal for a win in the FA Cup? There's a question for you.
I wouldn't take it. I mean, I fully expect us to beat them because I don't care how bad we are. I still always expect us to win. Like, I go into every game with, we have it in our locker to win every single game. Like, we proved it last year. We done them 4-2. You know what I mean? And I think, as Ben has said, we're nestled just perfectly between 2 Champions League games. And that changes things just a little bit, I think, from a normal weekend's game, because I'm pretty sure they will be really concentrating on winning those Champions League games, because they want to win that Champions League again. The league this year, the WSL was gone. They got no chance of winning that. They're still in for second. So, they haven't got to worry too much on this particular game about getting points on the board in the WSL. I just think maybe their heads might be elsewhere, which I think was pretty much where it was last season, wasn't it? Because they were coming up to the Champions League final, and we happened to play them at that point, and their heads were in that game. And so I think, like you say, they will be open. They will let us play, and we are much better when we are allowed to play and we can go at them. We will be, I think a lot of our players will be embarrassed about this game that we've just lost and will want to prove a point. To themselves, never mind to anyone else. They will want to prove to themselves that they didn't let themselves down, etc. And they are good players and they can do it. And I just think, why can't we beat them 4-0? Why can't we? There's no absolute reason why we can't stuff them this weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can do it. They're not expecting it. They're going to turn up going, look at Brighton. They just lost to West Ham. Oh, look at Brighton. They got no players. Oh, look at Brighton. They got no striker. Have them. If they're for the taking, have them. Do you know what I mean? Just believe in yourselves, because we can do it. We've done it before. And like Ben said earlier in the season, we shouldn't have lost at the Emirates.
No. Like silent assassins.
Absolutely.
Just when you think we're down, we're back.
Have them, because we've got nothing to lose, because everyone expects us to lose this game. So just go at them.
So I was going to come on to predictions, but are you going for 4-0?
4-0. I'm always going 4-0. 4-0. Come on, Ula. Hat-trick.
Yeah. I mean, every game starts 0-0 at the end of the day, so It's not like they have an advantage. Well, I suppose they've got a lot of money, but other than that advantage,
you never know. Who are they going to? They might rest a couple of players because
they may well do.
They want to play them in the next Champions League. If the Champions League game doesn't go their way on Wednesday, because you would expect they win that game. But if it doesn't go their way, if it's not quite as easy, they might think we might have to rest a couple for next weekend because we're not messing around for the weekend that Wednesday after. I mean, obviously they do have a bench full of players that they can bring on, so that is a worry. But
I think they've got their own injury problem.
Well, Tim.
There we go. So we've heard it here first. Claire's going 4-0. I should. I don't know how quickly they put up the odds for WSL games, but I'd love to know what the odds are of a 4-0 against Arsenal.
Well, it's bleeding eye. I might
be worth a quid on it,
Put 50p on.
Yeah. Although the thing is, if it's 50 to 1, you put a quid on, you win 50 quid. You think, I wish I'd put like a
fiver on.
If only. Let's go to Ben next. Ben. We've got a 4-0. Higher, lower. I'm not feeling higher, but it's.
I'm going to say 1-1. I think
1-1.
I don't think we're going to beat them, but I think, yeah. I'm never going to predict us getting beaten, but I don't think.
No, even I.
Actually, no, sorry. We're going to win 2-1.
2-1. Okay. I was going to say even I, the eternal pessimist, has never predicted us to lose, but I have predicted
Smith gets sent off. There we go.
2-1. Okay, I like it. So there's plenty of options open for you, Abby. Anything that involves them scoring 2 would be open. A clean sheet for us, and anything other than a 4-goal margin for us would be also free.
I think I'm going to go 2-0.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. No, I think we're and I have just looked up the odds for 4-0, and I think Claire, you should go for it.
Is it? What is it? What's it worth?
200 to 1.
200? Oh, I'll have a pound on that.
Worth a quid.
I'll have a pound on that.
I feel legally obliged to say we are not a betting suggestions.
We are not. We are not.
But yeah, and your app of choice may vary, but this is where I was saying, for us to win 4-0 is 200 to 1. For them to win 4-0 is 18 to 1.
Yeah.
That's fairly long, actually.
It does feel quite long. Now I'm thinking, should I put a couple of quid on Arsenal?
Can you go both ways? 4-0 either way.
Not on the same betting app, I don't think. Again, this is not advice on how to gamble your earnings away, and gambleaware.com is a very wonderful place to go.
Yes.
I think 2-0. I think our defense is going to, have a point to prove, and, by having something different, I think we're going to be forced to play Ulaug just because we haven't got Rosa and they've not seen her. And sometimes the big teams do struggle against players that they have not seen and they are surprised about. Which is why I think, Michelle was so successful at the Euros and things like that, because nobody's seen her. Nobody knew what she was about. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with. I might do a Claire and just do 2-0 for the rest of the season. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
I'm very torn because I have always been king of the 1-0s, but I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be more goals than that. I am going to go with a draw, but I'm going to be bold with my draw and go 5-5. No.
5-5.
But I'm not going to go 1-1, which would probably be the smart money. I'm going to go 2-2. And I don't know whether that's going to be us going up and seeing it crumble, or whether it's them going up and taking the foot off the gas a little bit and us coming back into it. I'm not quite sure, but that's my prediction. I've gone 4 goals, the same as Claire. So you could say I was as brave as Claire, but
I've put my bet on. I'm on.
You're on.
I've done it.
Yep.
You should have a go at. You should combine it with a first goal scorer of someone really like Manu to get. They're like Manu. You scored that brilliant goal against West Ham.
Manu.
Get up there again.
Yeah.
Well, that would probably be 1,000 to 1. So yes, long odds, but stranger things have happened.
It's like the streaker, isn't it? The guy who put a bet on there being a streaker on the pitch, and then he was streaking on the pitch. I'm not sure that I can work it to my favour.
You're saying you're going to substitute yourself on and score all 4 goals in a 4-0 victory?
Yeah. Well, it would. If I scored the first one, then that's all it needed. It would be an obscure person coming on and scoring. That'd be me.
Yeah, that's true. If you've just gone first goal scorer, not one of those combination ones. That's very true. Yeah, so I think we're all looking forward to it. I do think there's something about it being at Broadfield as well. It's just, even if you do lose, you've got your friends around you. You can sort of commiserate together. That's partly what this podcast is group therapy for us, or where people get to listen in at the same time. So
and it is a sellout as well. I should say. I had a look earlier. It's like, apart from the standing area, there's like 65 seats available. So guess where all the Arsenal fans will be sitting?
Yeah. I mean, the stadium is red, but we don't need to have it even more red than it normally is.
No. I just, if they're, obviously, if they're in the atmosphere section, I'm getting them shifted. I don't care.
I think, as before, if they keep quiet and they just keep themselves, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
But if it's wall to wall Arsenal shirts in between the Brighton fans and they want to start giving it large or whatever, then there's going to be some. Tim said 1,000 to 1 odds for Rosa coming on in disguise and scoring. That I feel like would have to be one of those request a bet things, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That's not on your normal average site, is it?
Yeah.
A player to come on in disguise. What they'd have to do like an anagram of her name, like Aros or something. New signing. Now I'm just imagining her with a pair of thick glasses and a comedy nose with a moustache under.
Yeah.
Rosa
Facacci.
Well, didn't the commentator on the weekend call her Rosa Kafadji or something?
Yeah,
all sorts of names. Kafadji, all sorts of things.
Exactly.
I mean, the commentators. I know that the commentators' name pronunciations get more and more hilarious.
Maybe they've had a bet on how funny they could say that, amongst themselves, if you can get the name in but say it completely wrong, you win like Snickers bar or something.
Ironically, it was West Ham last season where the announcer, I'm almost certain the announcer was deliberately pronouncing the names wrong as like a sort of a wind up. It was so wrong. It was almost like the only excuse the guy could have, and to be fair, it would be a good excuse, is if he was like dyslexic or something. But I think if you were dyslexic, you'd know ahead of time. You wouldn't have that job, or you'd know ahead of time, and you'd be like, right, can I just double check these with someone that I have
practice these ones? Yeah,
they were like absolutely ridiculous. And then he left the microphone on for like half an hour. Do you remember that? And every now and again, you'd hear him just talking in the background over the tannoy. That was weird. Good old WSL.
2 sugars, please, LC or something.
Oh, good times. Well, not so good times away at West Ham, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so right, are we all excited? Because I've got a new video to show you.
Come on, let's do it.
Right, okay, get ready.
Prepared, everyone.
Are we ready? Here we go. I've got to click the little doodad. I'll be more prepared in the future. Right, here we go. Exclusive video.
Ben on the ball, Ben on the mic, talking women's football every day, every night, from the first big tackle to the last late goal. Ben's got the game, Ben's got the soul.
And it's it was my best photo.
Can we have a photo shoot at the weekend?
It was the only one I had to hand.
I get a bit camera shy because of things like that. I did a lovely selfie with Nadine and Ordam a few weeks ago. I mean, she looks nice in it, but it's like, oh yeah, that's why I don't do selfies.
Oh, I've been there many times. But yes, it's time for the loan report, which sometimes is also the international report, but that's why I didn't specify on the graphic.
Yeah.
I thought you never know. Sometimes we have to. You're basically a correspondent for everything,
Yeah.
so you know
there might be a surprise at the end. You never know. Okay, so loans. Right. Well, Melina Lurk. They're still in. I think they're actually staying in Portugal, but they keep playing in Marbella or somewhere. Because it looks like, I mean, all the sort of Hammerby videos I've seen, it seems to be constantly hammering it down in Portsmouth. But then it looks quite nice when they're playing the games. But they played a team called, I couldn't read it when it was typed out, and I really can't read my own handwriting, but it's like Broma Poikana or something.
That sounds right. Yeah, I've heard it said once or twice. Yeah.
But they played them in a friendly, and they won 2-0. It was another one of those ones where Melina didn't have an enormous amount to do, but I did see her make a couple of good saves. But they have also got European action on Wednesday. This come out, so they've got their first leg of the Europa Cup quarterfinal against Sporting Lisbon, which is presumably why they're in Portugal at the moment. Yes, that's on the 11th in the evening. So hopefully she has been getting saving practice while they're training, if not in the games. Jess Pegram played the last half hour for Rangers. I think they probably rested her because they didn't really need her.
No,
as they beat Hamilton Academical 11-0. She came on with about half an hour to go, and I was quite disappointed to get on the score sheet, but
because everyone else did.
Yeah,
the scoring kind of slowed down towards the end. But yeah, I mean, we talk about the sort of the different levels and sort of, you know, when WSL teams get drawn against sort of tier 4 teams in the FA Cup. I mean, it's kind of like that in the Scottish Women's Premier League.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
there's like 3 or 4 properly pro clubs, some semi-pro clubs, and then basically, you know, no offence, but some quite non-professional clubs. So, you know, Hamilton Accies are probably not going to win the title this year. Anyway, yeah, I mean, otherwise, Olivia Johnson, obviously now at Forest, unused sub as they lost 2-0 at home to Charlton, so that serves them right. And then Evie Milner, obviously, again, just gone out on, well, not on loan as such, but more a sort of dual registration type loan thing, whatever. But anyway, she was an unused sub. Portsmouth lost 2-1 at home to Ipswich. The idiots. I think Evie could have stopped both those goals, but they're now bottom because Ipswich were bottom and they've just leapfrogged them. So, yeah, that doesn't look great for Pompey. Libby Bance, again, not in the Birmingham squad, and I've got no idea. That, you know, obviously nobody ever talks about injuries of anyone, so I mean, I assume she must have picked up a knock, but I don't know what. She doesn't really do the socials, and they've not mentioned it on theirs. So that's the loans, but drum roll, you did mention sometimes it's an international report.
Hang on, bear with. Oh, no, hang on, that's more of a. Hang on, try. Oh, it was not very loud, but
a single drum thud.
How about the air horn?
Maybe. Maybe I'll just keep talking.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it was announced the England under-17 Lionesses have got a few games down in the Pinatar thing. That's in Murcia, isn't it? In sort of southwestern Spain.
It's that place where they all have these camps, isn't it?
Yeah. So they've gone down, and Emily Gay was called up to that, which is really good. They're playing 3 games, and I think they haven't really decided who's playing who. But Monday, as we were recording this afternoon, they played Mexico and beat them 1-0, and she played 90 minutes in there. So, Clino, well done, Em. Congratulations. They've got a game on the 9th, which is this. Hang on, no, it's today. There's another game. Anyway, it's 2 more games. I think the last game's on the 14th. But they don't know who they're up against yet. Like, it's either Morocco, Norway, Poland, Scotland, USA, or Wales. So I don't know, but I mean, it's really good to see Emily still in, I mean, it's crazy that she's the academy player that got put in the squad, so she's only 16 or nearly. No, she's 17. Yeah, I don't know, but but it's great that she's sort of still up there and she's starting and playing the full games and stuff. So we'll play them. And then, yeah, that's about it. I mean, internationals to come soon, I hope. But yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I think there must be a international break after the West Ham game. I'm pretty sure, because we've got 2 big gaps coming up, so I don't think they can both be international windows, but maybe they are, because they're quite, although they don't seem very far apart to us, they probably are 6 to 8 weeks apart for the actual.
Well, the 15th obviously is the League Cup final.
Yeah, but the rest of the WSL are playing that weekend, aren't they?
Yeah. But that's like the next WSL game.
That's the 3rd week that we're not playing.
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah. But then we're playing on the Wednesday, of course, if anyone didn't.
So obviously this weekend is WSL. We've got Arsenal. The weekend after is the FA Cup weekend, and then there's 2 weekends.
The 3rd of March and the 7th of March, England have games to play.
Yeah.
And then
so we've got the standard 2 weeks, and then the 3rd week we would have been playing Chelsea, but we're not.
Yeah, but they've got the League Cup.
It's been moved to the So that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll definitely have some international news. I mean, whether Maisie will be called up, I'm not sure. I think perhaps, unfortunately, now more so than and we'll get into this more at the time, but I think perhaps, given how the other players that have been competing with her have been playing more recently, she probably is on the outskirts of the squad at the moment, which is so frustrating when she was really in form and the other ones weren't, or were a bit more unproven, and she didn't make it, because now she probably is on the outside looking in, but you never know. And obviously we've got baggers as well, depending on how many keepers they call up and who's injured and who's not, and so on and so forth. So, and obviously we've got lots of other international players as well, haven't we? So it's not just all about England. So yeah, some more.
Well, that's obviously that'll be when we start losing the Asians and the Africans, isn't it?
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So hopefully the impact of that has been minimised a little bit, but two definitely. And I think we worked out the Asian Cup players will miss 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we still we suspect obviously Moeka and Kiko are going to be gone, and